Hello, I'm Janie Buckland with the West Virginia FUE, Families United for Education, talking today with Grayson and Sean. We're going to be talking about Beast Academy. Sean, why don't you go ahead and start us out, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about your work with Beast Academy.
My name is Sean Russell, and I am the West Regional Director for the 10 states in the West region. I've been with Art of Problem Solving for 6 years and got to work with Beast Academy in a lot of our learning centers with a lot of students, anywhere from second grade all the way up to fifth grade. I personally love the graphic novel side of things and how engaged the kids get in the stories and how they enjoy doing math with other students.
Hello, everyone. I'm Grayson Moss. I'm the VP of Sales at Art of Problem Solving, and Beast Academy is our elementary math curriculum. Basically, what Sean and I do is we manage relationships with school systems and school districts of all kinds and varieties all over the country, and even some international schools as well. And we want to bring our love of learning and math to those schools. So we're happy to be here today.
Our family has been benefiting from Beast Academy over this last couple of weeks. You guys sent out some samples of Beast Academy, and I got to work through that with my fourth grader. And right away, my kindergartner showed up and wanted to be a part of reading through. It's been cool for us to have this unique perspective. I've worked as a homeschooling mom for 15 years, but this is my first introduction to your curriculum. That was fun. I'm hoping that I can share a little bit about that experience as we move forward. Grayson, why don't you start us out by telling us a little bit about who you serve? Who is the audience for Beast Academy?
Historically, we've served individual families all over the place that are looking for something a little bit different when it comes to their math enrichment or their math education, something a little more engaging, a little more fun, a little more creative than what they might typically find in their schools. A lot of homeschool families come to us to meet that need, and they find Beast Academy kind of checks those boxes for them. We also serve all kinds of families, and increasingly so, a bunch of schools as well. I would say in the past 4 or 5 years, we've really ramped up our engagement with institutions of all kinds, whether it's micro schools, independent schools, public schools, private schools, charter schools, homeschool charter school associations. I could go on and on. I think that's one of the real benefits of what it is that we've made, is that it works exceedingly well in all of these different settings, depending on what you're using it for. Our elementary curriculum, Beast Academy, can be and is used by families and by schools as an enrichment resource. You might already have something that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, but you just want to kind of spice things up a little bit mathematically, provide some more interesting, thought-provoking problems that you wouldn't typically find in a typical curriculum, something that's more engaging, something that gets at problem-solving skills, creative thinking, critical reasoning, this kind of stuff. Beast Academy works wonders in those settings. At the same time, Beast Academy can be and is used as a full, complete curriculum replacement. We did structure it as a full curriculum. We currently serve levels 1 through 5, and you can, for instance, go all the way through in your elementary math tenure, the Beast Academy curriculum, and you wouldn't need to see any other material. It would cover all the bases that you would need. It would cover all the standards, check all the boxes, and then some. I always joke lovingly about us as an organization that we are math geeks. Proudly, when it comes to standards, we don't feel that we've seen a set of standards that really is comprehensive enough. So what you're going to get in Beast Academy is that you'll cover all of those basic standards that you're already familiar with, but then you're going to see a whole bunch of other stuff, other topics and concepts that you perhaps have never seen before. And that's our pleasure to introduce that to students.
What we loved when we got it in the mail and opened it up, the kids just loved that they got to see these characters. And then I was a little intimidated because when you get in a routine as a homeschool mom, any type of new material, you can think there's a barrier, like how user-friendly is this really going to be? And so we opened up and immediately it started out by telling us how to use it, what each book was for. And there were great tips on how to read the graphic. So Elsie and I were able to just open it up and really get started with it. And then she got more and more independent. And that's just been in the last couple of weeks that we've been working through it. I think for homeschooling families or for those who are looking to use this at schools, whether they're the hybrid or like you said, a full-time school, I think that there's an opportunity to fold this in and try it out. Where would we go to learn more about Beast Academy?
You can go directly to beastacademy.com and you can see samples, you can see printables, you can see standards alignment, chapter overviews, scope and sequencing guides, even placement exams. We've developed very robust pre-assessment diagnostics for each of the levels that we've created. You might be wondering, why did you structure your math textbook as a comic book? There's really two good reasons for that. One is we wanted to make math and learning math more fun, exciting, and engaging for students. This is something very far afield from standard rote black and white cookbook style math book where you're just procedurally going through things, arriving at answers, and then moving on. This is a beautifully crafted narrative where students can latch onto their favorite characters, get excited about math, and really dive in. The other reason, again, us being good math geeks, is we're thinking about pedagogy. We're thinking about teaching, whether you're a parent teaching your child in the home or whether you're a teacher teaching your classroom in school. Interestingly, when you introduce mathematical concepts to students by way of conversation, the way that you would see in that comic book format, the graphic novel, characters talking to each other. When you introduce concepts that way to students, it allows them to develop a deeper appreciation and understanding of the calculations they're performing. I'll give you an example. The typical math textbook, in our opinion, is structured more like a cookbook, right? So let's say I've never baked a cake before. I'd pull out The Joy of Cooking or Julia Child's cookbook or something like this, flip to the chocolate cake section because I like chocolate too much. And then my steps would be as follows. I would try and understand all the ingredients in the right proportions that they want me to get. Okay, this many eggs, this much flour, this much sugar, great. And then I would follow the next steps. Preheat the oven to this temperature, whisk these ingredients together, step by step. At the end of that process, I get my answer, I get my cake. Now, importantly though, even though I did all that work, I never actually had to think. I never had to think critically along the way. Now, I'm not saying baking's easy. I know it's not. But I never had to actually reason through something. I'm just merely following the steps that are given. Now, historically and traditionally, math textbooks have been structured that exact same way. Here's a problem. Here's how you solve it. Here are 20 more problems that look structurally identical to that problem. Maybe the numbers are switched around. You try. And what students can do, they could end up being successful in mathematics by pattern matching algorithmically and just performing those rote computations. What we're doing at Beast Academy is flipping that model on its head and instead having our characters that you see in the pages of those books encounter thought-provoking, interesting, rigorous problems that don't have an intuitively obvious path to an answer, problems that lend themselves towards discussion, dialogue, and collaboration. One character might say to another, I'm not really sure how to solve this, but maybe we should start over here. Another character might chime in and be like, I can see why you would think that, but I'm not sure that's going to work because XYZ. And it's really the power of that language because that really gets at the why of mathematics so that students can really deeply understand the calculations that they're performing instead of just doing so in a rote way. That is a little taste of the philosophy of Beast Academy and why we've created it in the way that
As we've talked before, homeschooling parents tend to find the best curriculum out there. So you can rank curriculum based on how excited homeschoolers are. Of course, homeschoolers have been super excited about what you guys are offering. But as you're talking, I'm thinking about the pedagogy that our family embraces in the Charlotte Mason tradition. And what you're describing there is what she would call the digestion of self-education, and that you can't really steal those answers. You can't look at someone else's paper and still that pre-digested multiple choice. It's the self-education process is you being able to think through that and actually reckon. And that's what I like to see with my students. And I've definitely been able to see that with Beast Academy. You're right, that conversation pulls them along. But then again, it's addressing a need that we have as homeschoolers, in that mom or dad may not always have the time and energy and capability to have each math lesson be a conversation. That's an ideal setting, but you may not have the time and energy and resources for every single math lesson to be that conversation. So the way Beast Academy is constructed, it's providing that opportunity, that conversational back and forth. So I love that. This was great. And again, what is the website for parents?
Go to beastacademy.com. And then when you get Beast Academy or you want to engage with Beast, there's really 3 implementation options you can do. You can have a books only solution where you have the guidebooks and then the corresponding consumable practice workbook. That's where students would write their answers to problems that they see there. We have an online program. When you get that, we have monthly and yearly subscription options, but essentially you get the entire curriculum all in one shot. So you get to pick and choose what lessons and what level you want to start at. Or you could do a blended learning solution where you're combining the online access with a subset of books that are at the appropriate ability level of your child.
That's perfect. Thanks so much for talking about Beast Academy with our viewers. I really appreciate it.